Welcome to Ram and Goat Astrology. Join Helena and me, Laura Lee, each week as we take you on an explorative journey of astrology and health, reading charts, talking planetary energies, while educating and entertaining you. We help you navigate the mysteries of the stars and how they affect you personally. Here we go. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
We are back.
We are. Where have we been?
All over the place. It's been
We
weird.
have been all over the place.
It's been a strange time frame right now, but getting to the end of the year.
We are. And we thought that we would today sort of look into the future and just see sort of if there's any there are some major events happening in the sky.
Some shifting going on with some big planets that don't shift very often. So
yeah,
we're
because
going to explore the next year.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
we are.
So yeah. I've got some dates here, but I'm excited to just kind of dive in and chat with him. So I know some people get a little bit confused with the transits versus the natal chart. Should we discuss that a little bit first?
Yeah. Let's get into that.
So your birth chart is the energy that you're born with. It's like your program or your download or your, the operating system of your personal computer. And then that operating system can be affected by various apps and various things that you do to your computer. And that looks like the transits in the sky, right? So this planet moves into a new sign, and it's almost like getting a new app on your phone, right? There's this new energy in your life that you can use to hopefully clear some garbage or enhance your energy or help you move forward or whatever it is. So I love using that analogy because people seem to understand computer lingo.
And if you don't understand computer lingo, how would you explain it then?
I think it's the season that you're in. It's the flavor of the current energies in the sky affecting you and what's going on. So how the transit is in your chart, how it shows up. So let's say you've got Pluto's going to be moving this year, and he's going to be moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. And depending on where that is in your chart, you'll have some new energy and some new shifting in that particular area. If it's in your second house, it might be your finances or your home or your possessions. If it's in your seventh house, it might be a new love or a new business contract or new marriage or ending of a marriage or whatever. So it's that particular area of life that gets emphasized. And there's a lot of stuff moving around this year. A lot.
There is. And if you another way, some of you maybe have heard of solar returns. That's when the sun has gone one whole lap around the zodiac back to the point where your sun is. Or for example, a Saturn return. That's when Saturn goes. So we have your natal Saturn here, and then Saturn in the sky is moving around, and when it comes back to the same point as to where it is in your chart, that also affects you big time. Yes. That's like your first midlife crisis. Yep. And so this is sort of how transits can affect you. And some of the slower moving planets, they really affect us globally because they affect us all for a really long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a societal impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like to discuss the bigger ones because while they do affect society so profoundly, the way society is affected affects us personally, right? Whether it's a global pandemic or a financial shutdown or whatever the situation is, those big societal things have major repercussions on us personally, and that will show up in our birth charts. So we've got January starts us off with a bang. We're actually going to be in a Mercury retrograde into the new year. So this happens 3 times a year, and Mercury is a quick moving planet. And this is the planet that we use to really, really communicate our ideas, our thoughts, writing, speaking. It's also the planet of coordination and like how we move our body and things too. So, Mercury going retrograde can make your mind feel all of a sudden like it's been slowed down and like you're not you're not getting forward, like you're pedaling and
Mm.
pedaling and pedaling, but the bike's like almost going backwards, right? So I like to use retrogrades as a time to reevaluate what is going on in that particular area. So if it's a Mercury retrograde, I have about 3 weeks to really evaluate my communication. Do I need to go back and check my emails or clear out my emails and make sure I've written back to the people I need to, making sure all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted with my contracts, right? Get my contract stuff going for my business, or, with my children, making sure we're working on the right homeschool stuff that we need to be doing or that they're interested in. Maybe we shift gears a little bit. So I like using Mercury retrogrades as kind of a mental check-in. And cleaning up the clutter of like the paperwork I didn't get to, right? Quote unquote paperwork. And that could be just even clearing off your desktop of your computer,
Well done. Because most people, when they talk about Mercury retrograde, I feel like it's more about how will I survive this? And you're actually using it to sort of thrive.
Yeah, because it's not a negative. It's really just this opportunity that the energies in the sky give us to go, hey, let's double check that we have all our stuff done before we move forward again. Because if we just keep moving forward in life, we actually miss so much. It's in the moments of just standing still or taking a step back. And these are the times when maybe if you don't have a meditation practice in place, maybe during Mercury retrogrades, get a meditation practice, get a yoga practice, get something in place to really calm your mind and give your mind a chance to just chill out for a couple weeks.
So when is this retrograde starting?
So it's starting soon. I just actually had it. I know it goes through the new year, but I just had it up
again.
Yeah. So we actually start off the year with our Mercury retrogrades. So it's not going to be a year of like immediately launching forward. It's because we're going to have Mars in retrograde and a Mercury in retrograde at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So the turn from 22 to 23 is going to be like the universe grabbing us by our collar and pulling us back going, whoa, Nelly, whoa.
Yeah. Did you really think everything through?
Yeah. Did you think everything through? Did you pick up your things? Have you dealt with your anger issues? Do you need to communicate with somebody effectively, right? Do you need to go back and apologize for anything?
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of that type of energy. That's really what we're starting the year off with. So Mercury goes retrograde. Okay. I got a couple dates here. So December 7th, which was yesterday, on the day we're recording, it's the 8th. So we just had a Gemini full moon. So that was a interesting one. It doesn't affect me very much. I have a Gemini moon, so this is the one moon of the year. Like I
You're
dig
comfortable.
this. Yeah. Everyone's having all these issues, and I'm over here like I feel great.
Oh my god, I haven't slept much these past few days.
You're not the only one. Definitely, I had dreams. Everybody in my family, we had dreams. Lots of dreams the last 2 nights. So we had a Gemini full moon, which is intellectual and mental and ruled by Mercury. And then December 20th on the solstice, Jupiter has been in Pisces, retrograded back into Pisces, and now he's moving forward and he's going to enter Aries on the solstice. And I think that's an exciting time because we've got this winter solstice sun moving into Capricorn, and then Jupiter, this planet of expansion, moving into the fun, brave leadership sign of Aries. And I'm a big fan of Aries, as we know. I'm an Aries sun, and this is all about abundance and growth and new opportunities. So that's really exciting. And it was already in Aries this year, but then again went backwards and gave us an opportunity to reevaluate the fun we were having or the bigness we were experiencing, right? Maybe we were getting a little partying too hard or indulging too much.
Yeah, because Jupiter is like the only planet that can have too much fun, and where you have to bring the fun back a little bit. And I was thinking about that for this season. No, different topic. Let's not go there. Yeah, Jupiter is abundance. It can get exaggerated. Like you eat too much, you spend too much money, drink too much, have you just up way too late at night, having too much fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been experiencing this retrograde, which again allows us to evaluate how much fun we've been having, right? Maybe we needed to be a recluse for a little bit in our house, and we needed to just kind of get in that hermit energy for a little bit. And then when Jupiter goes into Aries right on that winter solstice, it's an opportunity for us to experience a relief or an energy of like, all right, now we can play a little bit more.
Yeah, because Aries is that really, really playful sign, and it's a fire sign. It's a fun, active, very physical sign. It's a sign for the body, so it's like
Yeah.
great to get physical and
Yes.
sweaty and
Yep. Yep.
have
And
fun.
it's a great time to introduce fire to your winter solstice ritual, right? Whatever that looks like. So we've got our Aries fire, and then we've got our December 20th winter solstice in Capricorn. So the sun moves into Capricorn, and that's a nice grounded energy. So anything with earth and fire would be a really, really great mixture to do on that day. If you want to do a burning ceremony or, just something like that to celebrate, would be really great energy that day. And then 3 days later, we've got a new moon on the 23rd in Capricorn. So now we've got a new fresh start in creating structure and creating new routines and working hard to do it, like making sure we're setting up that Capricorn energy. That's a great time for that new moon. And then Mercury goes retrograde the 29th. So just before the new year. As we're getting ready to go out, Mercury's like,
yeah. It might be 2023, but your mind is still in 2022.
Yep. That's exactly what that energy could look like easily. So that's the end of the year. That's how we're going to wrap up these next couple weeks. And so there's already a lot of energy going on in December. And then 2 weeks into January, we have Mars finally going direct on Friday, the 13th of January.
Ooh la la.
Right? I feel like a lot of us have been waiting for this one.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of the full moon just happened conjunct Mars in retrograde. And yeah, I think that we are done with this, with Mars retrograde, and happy to have it move forward, get closer to Cancer, slowly but surely. But yeah, I feel like, what does it mean? Mars will spend such a long time in Gemini. Because usually Mars spends like 1 or 2 months in each sign.
2 months, but 6-ish weeks. But this year, the way it ended up, he ended up going all the way through Gemini, and then turned around and went retrograde just at the very end of Gemini and went all the way back through.
Yeah.
And then so he's going to actually go direct at, not he didn't go all the way back through, but he's going to go direct at 8 degrees Gemini. So we'll be in Gemini for a couple more months after that. He goes into Cancer. When did we decide that?
In June, I think.
No, in March.
No. March. Yeah. March 25th.
March 25th. So we've got this Mars and Gemini energy, and Gemini is lovely. I love it. But really what you have to understand about Gemini is there's such a duality. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Go for it? No, don't do that. The indecisiveness can be mind-numbing to a lot of people, especially when they're trying to take action on something. Because Mars is our planet of action. Go, do it. Do the thing, right? It's the car you drive through life. And it's like driving a car through life right now, and the car is going backwards, and you're not sure if you should turn right or turn left. It's just super indecisive, and some people struggle with that energy so bad. It's an energy I've lived with most of my life, so I get it, and I've learned to appreciate it. But if you're not familiar with it, it can feel maddening.
Yeah,
absolutely maddening.
I
And
feel spread pretty thin, and I think that is because of Mars in Gemini. It's been there for such a long time, and
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
it.
Very, very airy, very airheaded kind of energy, right? Like you'll
Mm.
make a decision on something and then suddenly it'll change. And then you'll
Yeah,
decide to do
for
this
sure.
and go that way and then it'll change. And you're, ugh, super frustrating. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
welcome to my world, everybody.
yeah. But so many projects have started with this placement as well. Um, which is, I think, exactly how Mars, a planet of action, can show itself is in Gemini, like an intellectual planet. You start projects,
Yes.
um,
You don't finish them though.
but you don't finish them.
No.
Maybe you finish some,
You
but
may
it's a
finish
lot.
them once he goes direct on the 13th. So
Yeah.
after January 13th until he moves into Cancer, you're in March 25th, you're going to have some time there to really address the projects that haven't been finished or that are lingering.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll have some opportunities during those dates. So I think it's important to recognize that if you did start something during the Mars retrograde, which we are currently in and in for a while, you probably will not be able to finish it. It's just like something will come up, some indecisiveness either on your part or on somebody else's. It might not even be your indecisiveness that's holding up the project, right? But it could really be frustrating. So just, again, be patient with yourself because we're going to enter a Mercury retrograde and a Mars retrograde. And we got a Neptune still. We got a Uranus still. We got lots of retrogrades still. It's been a year of them for sure. So we need to recognize that energy will shift. Just breathe until January 13th. And then the 19th, right, just a couple days after the 19th is when Mercury goes direct in Capricorn. So now we have the hardworking energy of Capricorn with our mind, and we can make a plan and create a structure to go forward, use the Aries and Jupiter energy to expand, use the Mercury and Capricorn energy to work hard with our mind, and then use that Mars and Gemini energy to use the intellect and our networking connections and our friendships and all of that. So after the 19th of January, everybody can go. Until then, don't do anything.
No.
Wouldn't that
Just
be awesome?
think about what you should have done differently. What shouldn't I have done in 2022 that still happened? How can I avoid that from happening in 2023?
That's the best.
That's what you should do.
Exactly.
So what's next?
So in
What do we
February,
have?
Mercury's going to move into Aquarius, and that's going to give us a little bit of relief. Mercury really likes to be in air signs. That's its favoritist place. And so our mind is going to get a little bit more in the independent realm, and we want a little bit more freedom to explore and express ourselves and do the things we want to do. Maybe we change up our looks or change up the things that we say or how we speak to people or communicate. Everything about Aquarius is weird, so you can't predict it.
No. No, it's all about new ideas.
Yeah.
All about new ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's happening February 12th. And then we get some stuff going on in March. Big one in March. What's happening there?
Really, really big ones. We have our slowest moving planet. That is not a planet, but Pluto. Pluto takes the dwarf planet Pluto, which takes 240 years to go the whole way around the zodiac. 240 years. It's a long time. It's been in Capricorn for so long. But next year it's moving into Aquarius.
It has to be almost 14 years or more than 14 years because Elliot has a Pluto Capricorn. It's right at the beginning. So it's got to be about 14 or 15 years that it's been there. And
it's happening on March 23rd.
Yep.
You can write that down in your calendars.
This is a big deal. This is a generational shift. So my new baby's due 3 weeks after this. So my baby's going to be one of the first to be in this new generation. And so this is a whole new generation of children who are going to be really going deep, which is Pluto, right?
Mm.
Transforming, which is Pluto, and
Mm.
digging up the dark secrets, which is Pluto, and really coming up with unique ways and eccentric ways to come together in humanitarian thinking, right? In group collaborative effort while remaining an individual, a unique individual. It's going
Mm.
to be so intriguing to watch this generation grow. I'm so excited to see it and
Yeah.
to have one of my 5 children will have this energy. And I'm really curious to see what these new little beings are going to do for our society, because it's going to be so original. And the ideas, I think it's going to be a lot of the climate stuff. I think the
Yeah.
climate stuff is going to shift big time in the next 20 to 30 years because of
Mm.
these children.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come up with new ways to dissolve plastic in the ocean and to do this with this. And they're just going to, they're not going to have another option, really.
Mm.
It's,
No, yeah, it feels almost a little bit dystopian in a good way. No, case it feels like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
see, like air masks and stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna be there for, I mean, not that long, but I still feel this very futuristic energy about Pluto in Aquarius.
Right. Yeah. And the Aquarius does not deal with genderism or sexism or racism. Aquarius doesn't do that. No.
Mm.
So there's going to be a huge shift. The destruction, really, because again, Pluto destroys and then recreates, and the destruction of the patriarchal corruption and
Mm.
the governmental powers of corruption.
Mm.
Like you can claim us. Watch our words here. It's December 7th, 2022. This
Mm.
stuff is going to go down. Like, this is going to change. There's
Yeah.
no way Pluto is going in Aquarius is going to allow this stuff to remain. The
Mm.
banking systems, the corruption of these major companies that are just doing whatever they want because they can, right?
Mm.
And you can see a little bit of it. You can see, I think it was in England recently, where 20 somethings and late teens were going to art exhibits and like throwing eggs and stuff at
Yeah.
paintings to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
bring awareness to climate issues and
Mm.
to corruption and stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of weird anarchy
Yeah.
Pluto and Aquarius is going to do.
Yeah, because Aquarius is the weird anarchist.
Yeah.
That's it's the punk rocker. It's the one who is so unique and has its own voice and will just rebel.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pluto's going to move into Aquarius for a little bit. He's going to give us some flavor. Do you know if he goes retrograde back into Capricorn?
It does, yeah,
Okay.
it does. I don't remember when Pluto goes retrograde, but actually he doesn't stay so long in Aquarius before going back retrograde into
Oh,
Capricorn.
here it's June 11th. June 11th.
Oh, so about March, May. So 2 months in Aquarius and then back into Capricorn for the rest of the year, actually.
Yep. So we will get a little flavor
A
of,
little taste.
yep, it's gonna be just a little bit of, like, almost like you get to sample the wedding cake and then no, you can't eat the rest of it, right? Just a
Yeah.
little flavor of what this is gonna feel like. And then we go back into the patriarchal, like they're gonna try and hang on, right? The corporations and the governments and all of this stuff that's going to shift, they're gonna try and hang on really tight. And they'll have a couple more months to really, like, cling to the edge of the ledge. And then when Pluto moves fully into Aquarius, it's all gonna
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah. It'll be
It
really
just,
interesting to see what happens March 23rd or around those dates when Pluto first like takes its first steps into Aquarius.
I'm
It'll
really
be really interesting.
curious.
Yeah,
I'm
I am.
really curious.
Mm.
I know when there was another Pluto transit, I cannot remember exactly the right one, but there was a Pluto transit a few years ago, and it had something to do with something in Scorpio, and it was just the right energies where all of the sexual misconduct stuff came out with all of the directors and these actors and like all
The Me
of
Too
that stuff.
stuff.
Yep, all of that sexual stuff, and then the Me Too started.
Mm.
And it started almost the day where there was a Pluto square something here, and it was exactly this energy. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And that's how societally, an example of how it can societally affect us is
It
where
changed society. It really, really, really changed so many things, and it won't be the same again in many parts of work, or like, yeah, a lot of things has changed since then.
Yep.
And just like fun fact, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was in the 18th century.
Do you know when?
Oh.
Google that one for us. I'm curious.
Yeah.
But think of all of the areas of the world right now where Pluto and Capricorn energy is trying to hang on. We've got major issues in Iran with the power struggles there. We've got massive issues with Ukraine and Russia. We've got massive issues in the US. Clearly, there's energy. There's power struggles within most of Europe right now with energy stuff and food stuff. There's so much going on with this transformation, right? You can feel this undercurrent, which are all the words I'd use with Pluto, starting to happen, and it's all over the world. I mean, there is South America, Middle East, just everywhere. There's just huge uprisings and shifting of power, which Pluto.
And this is what Google says about about the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. So Pluto was there between 1778 and 1798. It says the last time Pluto passed through Aquarius was between 1778, 1798, a revolutionary and transformative period of time that changed the way the world viewed power, money, technology, and society as a whole. So revolutionary times.
Yeah. And money's another one to look at. You can see right now, like the cryptocurrency trying to get a foothold, right? Like it's trying, and it's not quite there yet because the old system is still trying to hang on, right? So there's like these, they're not competing, they're attempting to work together. It's kind of sort of not working. I said, I'm not investing anything into crypto, anything until Pluto fully moves into Aquarius and is there for a little while. Like it needs to get established first. There's too much volatility as it's getting established. And I think you could probably look back at the 1700s. That was when America was forming. And that's when they were trying to break away from the British crown and their money and their taxation and all of and create their own money system and financial system. That's when Alexander Hamilton came about and like really wrote all of the financial documents that our entire country is based on right now during that time frame, which I find very intriguing. I'm glad I know that, and the only reason I know that is because of that Goofy musical, and my kids are obsessed with it. So thank you, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Appreciate it.
All right, so that was Pluto.
So Pluto is going to give us a flavor. I find it so interesting that he's only there for a couple weeks, really, and I'm having a baby during that time, right? There's only like a small blurb of kids that will be born during that section.
Yeah.
And then they'll be piggybacked by Capricorn on both sides. So really interesting little group of children born during that time frame. I'm so curious.
Yes.
We'll come back in 20 years and redo this episode. So that's in March 23rd. Well, March 7th, just before that, we have Saturn. And he goes into Pisces. So this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Saturn's been in Aquarius for a while because he went retrograde in Aquarius. So we've been hanging out in learning how to establish structure in weirdo Aquarius, right? And then we got Pluto coming in to help transform and rebuild and dig out the secrets coming right after. So Saturn's going to move into Pisces March 7th. How do you interpret this one, Helena?
Well, Saturn is the planet of sort of like it comes with lessons. It comes with the boring things, maybe, because it's like the things that we need to do. Like these are the things you need to do to survive. You have to do them. You have to do them properly. That's what Saturn wants.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about karma as well. And Saturn moving into Pisces. When I think about our world as a collective, I think that we will learn how to be more compassionate, or we will have to learn how to be more compassionate, is
Yeah.
more like it, because we don't know it. But
Yeah.
we will have to, this will be the hard lesson when Saturn is here. We will have to, probably in very hard ways, learn how to be more compassionate with each other, how to be more probably in touch.
Empathetic is the word coming to mind.
Yeah,
Having more
empathetic.
empathy and focusing on healing and
Yeah.
and actual healing, right? Not the fake healing that big pharma wants us to believe they provide, right? But like for real healing, like true soul healing, generational healing, which is the realm I love to play in.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned karma. I am listening to a book right now, phenomenal book for anyone who's interested in what happens in spirit world and whatnot. It's by Dolores Cannon, and it's called Between Death and Life, or Life and Death. And she puts people into regressions, into basically a hypnotic state, and between death and life, that's what it is. And she puts them into a hypnotic state, and then they go into a past life, and they tell her about it while they're in this hypnotic state. And a lot of the times they can go to spirit world, and they give these descriptions of planning to enter their next life and things like that. And karma, I'm really understanding a little bit deeper. And karma is basically this stuff that we need to work on that we didn't do well in a past life, or generationally has not gone well. And whether that's energy we put out that was not, in a healing way, or whether that was baggage we took with us, but we come into this life, we incarnate into this life with this karma we have to deal with. And some of us choose to take on a lot of karmic debt to heal and clear, and some of us take on just a little bit. But when Saturn moves into Pisces as a global situation, I picture this as really our whole society really learning this Christ-like energy, right? This healing, compassionate, nurturing energy, and not just thinking of ourselves, right?
Yes.
There's been a lot of like me, which Aquarius can get a little bit like that. They're humanitarian to a point, but they're also there's an individualism with Aquarius.
Yeah.
So now we move into Pisces, and Pisces I feel like represents all of the zodiac signs as a whole and encompasses all of them. So we need to really focus on this generational healing, this soul healing, and this global healing is really where we're at. We have a lot of people suffering. We have a society that has lots and lots and lots of money, and then there's a lot of people who have nothing, right? There's a big dichotomy of the haves and the have-nots. And I think that's going to shift when Saturn moves into Pisces and then Pluto moves into Aquarius. I think those two are going to really give us an interesting perspective.
And Saturn will stay in Pisces. Is it around 2.5 years? Is my memory correct?
So. Yes.
Yeah. So that is quite some time. But and I think that something that I heard another astrologer talking about also with this shift is that we will have to learn a lot of lessons about Mother Earth, about how bad we've been treating her. And there's a lot of lessons coming up then, because we will have to learn, like now is the time, and we will start feeling it, because Pisces is the empath. So we will really feel the pain of how our Earth is doing. And I think it could be quite a painful time in that regard.
I think it requires a lot of surrendering to what has happened and accepting what has happened, and not trying to numb the pain. Pisces can definitely be an amazing healing energy, or it can be amazing to check out and disappear into any type of numbing agent that exists.
Just dissolve. Yeah.
Yep. So
drugs, alcohol,
we have to be
sex.
really careful we don't disappear into scrolling social media, drinking some wine, checking out in any way possible. And we have to go into the pain. And I think I would say our society is getting there. I know when I scroll through my Instagram or social media, I'm seeing a lot more creating content creators making messages around mental health and around reaching out for help and around suicide awareness. There's suicide hotlines now, and where that shit never existed before. Like, that wasn't a thing. Is that similar to you over in Sweden? Are you noticing that?
Yeah, for sure. That is the that's the trend. That's a trend that is coming, and which is great because we need it.
For real. Because it really, the collective needs to heal. And that's where Saturn in Pisces is going to make us do the work.
Yeah.
No option
Saturn
to
does.
avoid.
No option to avoid. I mean, you can try, but it will just be harder.
Yeah, you can give it a go. Like, seriously, like I've tried to avoid Saturn lessons.
Oh, yes, me too.
And I'm having my 5th kid right now, so I can't avoid it. I have Saturn in my 5th house of children and procreation.
Yeah.
I don't have an option to avoid it.
Yeah.
I just have to laugh at that because it's really a surrender. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, for sure, surrendering. I mean, like I said, painful, but surrender to it. And because we can't just be stuck in the pain and like, whoa, this is so terrible. We have to act also. Yeah. But I think Saturn in Pisces will help us to take action because we will start feeling the pain and like, oh, that will start something. Okay, what can we do to remove this, to make this better?
And for those of you listening, like, please share this information. Share this. Let others know who maybe aren't into astrology or maybe aren't, aware of this energy. If you have friends or family who are struggling and you can see them starting to check out, you can see them starting to spiral, whether it's gambling or, like you said, sex or drugs or whatever it is, even just getting lost in social media, that's a really bad form of addiction too.
Oh, yeah.
If you see friends and family like that, recognize that and let them know that this energy is present and is going to be here for a good 2.5 years to give us an opportunity to go into the pain and deal with it and not numb it. We have to help each other, the collective, and creating awareness around this, because Pisces can be nebulous and hard to see through. It's kind of like walking through a cloud a little bit, right? And in movies where the person kind of walks through the spirit land and they're walking through the fog machine stuff, right? The cloudiness. Yeah. That's a little bit what it can feel like. So in order for you to heal, you have to come together and connect with people, because that's where the healing is. Otherwise, you're just lost in the clouds and lost in that nebulousness. And it can feel scary there sometimes, especially if you have a lot of placements in Pisces. If you have friends who have placements in Pisces, like, check on them. In the next 2 years, check on them, because they're going to be having some hard times. They're going to be having some struggles. So I know one of the things I have to take note of is my Mercury is in Pisces. And when Saturn comes over the top of my Mercury, there could lead to some mental health struggles and some mental health issues. Mercury is the mind, and Saturn is, hey, we need to work hard on creating structure and routine and all of that. Well, that's cool, but we're in the fishy sign of Pisces. So what does that look like? So I need to be aware of that transit for me personally with that particular sign in Pisces. So do you have your sun or your moon or, other planets in Pisces? Because when Saturn comes over the top of them, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel this demanding that you check your structure and you check your foundation and make sure it's stable. It's almost like getting an inspector to come over, and make sure your home is all good before you sell it or whatever, right? That's kind of what Saturn does. So whatever planets are there, that's where the inspector is really going to be focused on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got March 7th, Saturn in Pisces. March 23rd, Pluto in Aquarius. And then March 25th, Mars goes into Cancer. So it's a big like week there. 2 weeks.
Wow.
Big 2 weeks. It's a big March.
Oh.
And then March 29th, I turn 41. So that's cool.
It's
That's a big
things are
thing
happening.
So when Mars moves into Cancer, we have the planet of drive and fight and sex. And he's going to go into this feeling sign, and he's going to get into the body, and you're going to feel things a lot more. And the waters of the ocean may get a little tumultuous because, well, you know, Mars likes to fight and likes to fight.
Yeah, it will definitely feel different. I'm sort of looking forward to it.
I am too. I am too. I love me some Gemini, but there can be an overload for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when I got enough people in my head. I don't need like extras visiting.
They don't need extra people.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thanks. So if we have Mars moving into Cancer, this will help us get out of our heads, and then we get to feel. And again, this is going to help with us feeling empathy for others. So if you are in all of a sudden entering into April going, oh God, like I just feel everything. That's okay. You got Saturn in Pisces now and Mars in Cancer. You're going to feel everything. Like, but for some people that's maybe quite uncomfortable.
And I also think that with Mars in Cancer, that will bring out our so to get things done, it will bring out all of our inner mom.
Oh yeah.
Like let's say for example, the global issue.
Yep.
I think that when we start realizing more and more that we have to do something, and then Mars moving into Cancer, which is the sign of the mother, then like all of these like very maternal instincts, and it's not just for women, for men, for everyone, this maternal instinct will just like really, really get sparked. And I mean, a mom protecting her kids is the strongest one ever. So I feel like we will really fight so hard to protect what we feel needs to be protected with Mars in Cancer.
Yeah. For sure. That mother instinct to protect something is profound. And where Cancer is in your chart is where you'll really feel that. For me, it's actually going to be in my first and second house. So protecting me, myself and I, and then also my home life and my stability and my structure and finances will be a major emphasis for me during this time, which makes sense. I'm having a baby.
Yeah.
I'm having a baby with a Mars in Cancer. Like, you bet I'm going to be protective of my children. And that once that like that maternal hormone really kicks in when you have a baby, like it extends to all of my kids. So I'll get very, very, very loving, very nurturing, but also pretty heated. If any family members say anything stupid to me, I guarantee you I will say something. It just should be a sign on the door, like no stupid comments allowed. Come in and visit, but don't say anything dumb, or Laura's gonna like get her Cancer claws out and
snap, snap, snap.
Yep. Wouldn't that be a nice warning if everybody could just put like astrological warnings on their front door before people visit?
Yeah. Watch out, going through a Pluto transit.
Yeah, having a Pluto square right now.
Instead of this, like watch. What does it say? Like watch out, I have a big dog. What does it say? Yeah. Watch the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, beware of the dog or something.
Beware of the dog. Beware of crazy lady.
Right? Beware of Mars and Cancer right now.
Yeah.
So I think this will really help us in general, though, be in that empathetic state. And then especially after this Gemini indecisiveness, we will be able to make a decision based on how we feel.
Yeah.
So the decision may still not be the right one because now it's based on how our feelings are, which can change and be wishy-washy as well. But it'll be more decisive than the dueling twins of Gemini we've been dealing with. So I think it'll be a nice change of pace with Saturn in a water sign and Mars in a water sign.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
I like the
And
waters.
then on April 20th, we have a solar eclipse, which happens in Aries. So this is going to illuminate things we didn't see. That's what solar eclipses do. They kind of bring about this energy of awareness. And Aries is going to deal with things that maybe we are a little bit scared of, or maybe we have been not taking action on, and we'll have a bravery shift and we'll start to take action on them. So that's the dichotomy of Aries. So that should be interesting time right around spring and that renewal cycle. And then we've got another Mercury retrograde happening. That's going to take place the next day, April 21st.
Yep.
And that will go until May 14th. So the Mercury retrogrades, I feel like, aren't terrible, but I always caution people, really, really be careful during a Mercury retrograde about signing contracts, making
Booking
sure
plane tickets.
Plane tickets, anything technology based, like just double and triple check, right? If you buy a new phone with this program, like make sure that the store has a warranty or something, right? Like just
because it's usually we see around the days of when Mercury is in retrograde, that's when sort of the trains are out of order, like all the trains are late, the like technology just goes down, apps start dissolving in front of our eyes, like online banks are having trouble. This is what we see happening during Mercury retrograde. So that's why we say double check everything, that everything is, so you have done your utmost for it to not be a technical disaster.
A problem for you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do these things. It's not that people don't buy houses during a Mercury retrograde or something like that. It's just if they do, there's typically some kind of hang up somewhere. There's a flaw in the paperwork, or there's just some type of thing that didn't work right. So making sure your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, and this is in Taurus. So Taurus, we want to think of as with money, with relationship, and with our stability of our home and big purchases like buying a home. That's when you really want to be cautious. So let's just do one more because I think it's a big one, and that'll get us like halfway through the year. We've got Jupiter moving into Taurus, May 16th.
Right now, Jupiter is it's moved back into Pisces.
Yep.
Let's see. Jupiter.
Going to go into Aries on that winter solstice, so it'll be from Aries to May 16th. Will be in Aries, and then we go into Taurus. So when Jupiter moves into Taurus, I read this line on this little blurb from another astrologer. It says, cancel the credit card if you have to, because temptation to treat yourself will be real.
That's it, because Taurus is all about sort of the luxuries, wanting to have all of the food in your fridge, maybe buying a new home, buying some, new
a car, TVs, like
comfortable shoes
stuff.
And also things. Comfortable things. And Taurus rules your finances as well, and it wants to roll around in like all its luxury things, and Jupiter highlights everything. Jupiter comes in and just like expands. So this
could be beneficial for your pocketbook, or it could go the other way.
Because or your pocketbook too much.
Yep, your pocketbook could get empty, and Amazon gets all of your money. So there's the downfall of Jupiter. You had the money, and then it went away. So this is something to just take note of. And then the day after it moves into Taurus, it squares Pluto in Aquarius. So we've got some tension that's going to build there. And we've got the giant planet of expansion in the sign of luxurious things that feel good. And it's going to
Mm.
square Pluto in, hey, let's destroy and recreate humanity
Mm.
and be weird about it. So that should be quite interesting energy that happens May 17th. So everybody kind of put that on your calendar, that
Yeah.
there should be some interesting energy May 17th with a Jupiter in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Like, just kind of
Yeah.
take note of.
And just so also to know, like, maybe think twice before you buy that new vacation home, you know, that you might not afford or something, or maybe
Yeah.
you do, but still think about it twice.
Yeah. Because you may be following your, doing things with confidence, but again, Jupiter can push it over the edge. And I just did a self-care class last night. I was teaching on a woman's program, and we were talking about choosing yourself and doing self-care and what happened in our life to get us there. And I said, well, I chose myself, but then I chose myself too much. And I really like went downhill because I was
Whoa.
getting almost like too selfish with things. And I was putting my relationships and everything last and putting me first, which was really fun for a while. But I definitely look back at that time frame and feel that Jupiter energy in my fifth house at the time of like, play and let me do whatever I want. And I don't really care about other people because I'm having fun, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of this. And that energy may hit you in May.
In May? In May.
It may hit you. So that's what's coming up in the first half of the year. Definitely some big, big stuff. Big stuff.
Yeah.
And June 11th is when we talked about Pluto goes back into Capricorn for a while. So really the first half of the year is going to be a lot of shifting, a lot of societal energy. I'm so curious to watch the news headlines and see what happens on a societal basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really big changes. You have Pluto moving signs, we have Saturn moving signs, and that is happening. Was that the same within like 2 weeks from each other or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have Jupiter changing signs. We have Mars going direct and changing signs. And I mean, you don't have to know all of these dates.
Right.
You might have other interests, unlike us. But it can be good to, I mean, if you do write these dates down, it can just be good to, when you're going through those times, you can just refer to them like, oh, this is happening. And then you can just think of what we've been talking about, like, oh, hang on, that sort of makes sense. And that is just a way to sort of get ahead of the energy and not be caught by surprise by it. And maybe even now thinking about how are you going to be feeling with, for example, a Pluto in Aquarius.
Yeah. And like our mentor, Deborah Silverman said, observation is so key to living a more happy life, because you're not judging yourself and you're not, woe is me. It goes, oh, okay, well, here's what's going on. Now I can be aware of it and deal with it instead of wondering what's happening to me, right? Now you know there's a lot of shifting. And like I said, even if it's a global thing, it's going to affect you personally. It just is. So taking note of these, I don't necessarily keep these dates on a calendar or anything, but I just kind of put them in the back of my head and I go, all right, I should be prepared for some big stuff in March.
Yeah.
Like, just note March is going to be shifty. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily get really hung up on the dates. I just know that the energy is going to change and I can be flexible and go with it. There are some people like my son and husband who are like, what date is that again? Like,
but they're Earth people.
Yep, the Earth people need those specific
They love writing things down.
That happens at what time? 11 p.m.? Okay.
My Taurus, my 5 placement in Taurus boyfriend, he just got a new calendar. And he right away he gets it and he starts beautifying it, because Taurus is all about beauty as well, and like putting the dates in really neatly. Loves it.
That's
loves
funny.
it.
I love it. I love it. Well, this was so much fun to explore. I hope this is helpful for you to see what's coming up, to understand the energies coming up, and if you want to understand how these energies will affect you personally, we would be happy to do a private reading for you or even have you on the show. Let us know. You can reach us at ramgoatastrology@gmail.com, and we would love to see you and anytime. So thanks for tuning in this week.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to be a part of our show or have a personal reading done with us, email us at ramgoatastrology@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. See you next week.